What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Burbon. I'm coming at you with another video, and today we had some recent updates in regards to Square Enix and some of the goings on over at Square Enix right now. And we'll come over here to Game Rant, where it says Square Enix stock plummets after disappointing Q3 2024 earnings. But what's really going on here? What's the big hubbubaloo about all this? It's not like Square Enix really didn't release anything in Q3 outside of maybe Dawn Trail and Final Fantasy 16 Online. It's not like they had any of that going on. It's not like they've been shutting down companies left, right, and center as they radically restructure their whole company through and through. No, it couldn't be anything like that. But let's read this. Square Enix stock plummeted over 10 points on Monday, November 11th. The company hence lost the equivalent of hundreds of millions of dollars in market capitalization, with this turn of events likely being prompted by Square Enix reporting some mixed financial results. Square Enix operating profit has been on a steady decline since its 2022 peak. The Japanese gaming giant latest financial report suggested that this trend might have finally reversed, with the company reporting that it generated $136 million in profit over the 6-month period ending September 2024, a 22% year-on-year increase. So you're seeing that they're actually making a profit. They are actually bringing in money. You're seeing a 22% increase of profit actually coming into the company, again, based off of 2 main games that they actually released in roughly Q3. And I could be getting some dates off a little bit, but in the rough area of that. So then why is the company losing stock price? Why is that happening? Well, when we actually come down here, they start mentioning some other details. Square Enix stock still declined by 10% by the close of trading at the Tokyo Stock Exchange on Monday, November 11th. Some Japan-based industry watchers speculate this development can be attributed to a number of troubling figures contained in the company's latest financials. Although the operating profit for the reported 6-month period has increased year on year, it has mostly recently been on a heavy decline, failing 27% in Q3 2024, combined with the fact that Square Enix premium game sales are down year on year. This decline might be what prompted the investors' sell-off that caused the company's stock to plummet. And again, okay, what games did they put out during Q3? What games are they actually delivering to the populace? Not a whole lot right now. They're actually not giving people a whole lot of games, again, because of this thing that they announced back in roughly March or April, when they actually predicted something like this was going to happen. Square Enix expects more than $140 million loss next quarter as it abandons numerous projects in development. Now, this was back during, I believe, Q1 and predicting what was going to happen back in Q2, as they started actually announcing that they were abandoning a bunch of products. They were moving away. They're doing this radical new restructuring idea for the company, and they've been cutting costs. They've been cutting things. They've been moving away. They've been changing up what they've actually been doing. So Square Enix actually came out ahead of all of this and actually predicted, yeah, we're going to be seeing some declines in the upcoming years. We're going to be seeing some downward trends coming up as we do this radical restructuring. That entails, changing up what games they're actually offering to players. Square Enix adopts new corporate philosophy of unforgettable experiences after disastrous 70% decline in profits and previous embrace of wokeness with games like Forspoken. And again, this is back in May when this was all being reported. All this started up roughly March to April when these stories were coming out. Along the same time, they got their brand new president in the company who is pushing this whole new agenda, that is pushing this whole new way of actually approaching game sales, game development, and how the marketing and business end is going to be structured over at Square Enix. They're radically changing everything. We have actually yet to see any real changes from the company that they are implementing right now. Because one of the things that they actually did come out and say that they were going to be doing was this aggressive multi-platform push and actually stepping away from Sony. They're no longer partnered with Sony. Sony is no longer teamed up with them. They are on their own and they're doing multi-platform gaming from now on. They're pushing into PC markets day one, Xbox markets day one, PC markets day one, Switch markets day one. They're doing everything they can to make sure gamers can actually get to the game and actually play said game. And now I know a lot of people are going to be coming out here and saying, well, the games are all woke. The games are all woke. Why do we ever want any of these woke games anyways? Well, it's not like Square Enix has actually been trying to fix that issue with them removing themselves from Sweet Baby Inc., basically decoupling from Sweet Baby Inc. Outright, mainly because Sweet Baby Inc. and Square Enix were only working on their American branches. And if we come over here, we saw this happening. Square Enix confirms layoffs at USA and EU amidst restructuring. They were basically shutting down their Western branches. They're no longer really doing anything in the Western market. They're basically going off and doing their own thing and radically focusing in on the Japanese-based market instead of the global market. Because focusing in on making games for Japan first, a lot of the global audience actually wants your games to be made for Japan first and then divvied out to the American audience, to the Western audience, because that's what your fans have actually been requesting. That's what your fans actually require. And that's what your fans actually want. So you can see them decoupling from all this stuff. You can see them rejecting this stuff. And I know a lot of people are going to come out here and mention things like Dragon Quest or stuff like that and all the wokeness and things that are going on there. It's not like recently we had it announced by the Dragon Quest creators themselves that actually they were being forced to censor these games due to Western regulators. Now, a lot of people came out here and said, well, because of these regulators, why don't they just make Japanese versions of the games and also make the American versions so they could do their whole regulations, but still stay true to the game itself? Well, those days are actually gone. They're gone with the dodo bird, mainly because there's always simultaneous releases now, same day releases in Japan as they are here in America. They're no longer trying to make two games, mainly because when you make two games, it's actually more financially exhaustive trying to make two very separate games, one for the Japanese audience, one for the American audience. As much as I would prefer them to make the Japanese game and then have fan subs and fan create versions come over here that I could end up playing, chances are those aren't going to be a thing for much longer because of the financial strain that they're actually put in. So when you actually see them, yes, Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake is incredibly filled with this woke propaganda. It's actually changed Akira Toriyama's famous artwork, which is blasphemy up the wazoo. But we had the creators actually say, yeah, it's the regulations that are being pushed upon Square Enix that made us change this game, that made us inject this stuff into the game, and made us actually have to do things to the game that we didn't want to do at the beginning. And this is all telling. This is all leading us down a thing, because a lot of people want to say, well, they've gone woke. Well, they've done this. Well, they've done that. They're super woke. They're super woke. They have the ethics department. A lot of people want to say they're losing money because of the ethics department. And the ethics department is censoring games like Tifa's breasticles over in Final Fantasy VII Remake. And they ignore the fact that actually, yes and no. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, yes, later on they did censor Tifa's breasticles because of the ethics department. It was actually a continuity error that caused them having to do the censorship, because they actually censored it back in the Final Fantasy VII. I can never remember the name of the game, the one that came out for PSP that wasn't as good. Yeah, they censored her there. So they retroactively went back to Remake to censor her there because of a continuity issue that was imposed by the ethics department that nobody seems to be able to confirm that they actually exist anymore. And what am I saying there? Because a lot of people want to say Square Enix is in this position because they went woke, which is true. They started focusing on the Western markets over the Japanese markets. They started catering to these Western ideals, this Western sensibility that nobody actually cares about except for a fringe minority of individuals. They started catering to that market and that demographic instead of their actual demographic. So that part's true. But when it comes to the ethics department, nobody can actually definitively say that they're there. They always say that you can't prove that they're not there. But the thing is, like, the ethics department is gone because there's this Reddit post that went around, roughly 10 months ago, almost a year now. Square Enix deleted their ethics department. You could come over here to the Reddit post right here at Kotaku in Action. Square Enix deleted their ethics department hiring webpage in which censorship is mentioned. And you come over here, the department is gone. 404 not found. No longer a part of all this. So what's your excuse? And why am I bringing up all this woke stuff? Because this is what a lot of people try to hammer in on why Square Enix is failing. No, this is why Square Enix got into the position they were in the first place. This is why they got all the way back here, is because of the woke stuff, is because of the focus in on all this stuff, is because of, their single platform releases over on the Sony PlayStation that wasn't actually ever going to work out well for them in the modern era. It was all that stuff that did push them down into this situation. But what's happening is that they are showing very vividly that they are getting out of the woke stuff, that they are decoupling from all this. They are removing all this. And it's not the woke stuff that led them to actually have a stock drop. It was actually their decisions to radically change up their platform, radically change up how they are going to be pursuing the market henceforth, how they're pursuing gaming, how they're doing all that, that led to the stock dropping. That's actually what led to that. And they're actually showing profits. They're actually showing money coming in. And they're showing all this despite the fact that they're putting out fewer games. Now, I can also safely tell you, the fact that they put out the newest Life is Strange is a problem. The newest Life is Strange, I don't want any part of. I like Life is Strange 1. That's where it should have ended. Okay? You need to decouple from these Western markets as much as possible in making games in the West. But outside of that, what games have they released this year? Not that many. They released, and I looked it up beforehand, they've only released like maybe 4 games this year, and they've done meh. Mainly because of their usage of Sony and their reliance on platforms like Sony and the PlayStation. They've actually since decoupled from that, and they've been going their own way. So we're seeing them move in a positive direction. Yes, their stock dropped, but they're making profit. They're actually starting to cater to gamers. Yes, they have a massive dud on the horizon that was in development for the past 3 years while the ethics department was there, by the way, and also while they were being forced by Western regulation to censor the game. So you got all that going on. All I can see is Square Enix is actually at the rise. They're trying to turn the tide. They're trying to right the ship. But we do have individuals out there that are trying to say, well, it's because of the woke stuff. Well, it's because of this. Well, it's because of that. They're learning the hard way. You mess with gamers, you learn the hard way. When they're trying their hardest to actually right the ship and do right by the gamers, do right by the audience, do right by everything. And that's what I commend them for. I have more faith in Square Enix trying to right the ship and fix their mess ups and actually try to cater to gamers than I do Marvel ever actually fixing itself, than I do Lucasfilm ever actually fixing themselves, because they're attached to Disney, mind you. Square Enix has removed itself from Sony. Square Enix is on its own. It's trying to cater to the gaming market. It's removed any aspect of the woke ideology as they can. There's probably still some contracts that they are still stuck on. They're doing the hard work to try to do right by you. And they are seeing a decline, but all in all, again, they showed profit. They brought profit in. They're making money. So what they lost is actually just a little bit of faith due to the limited amount of games they put out and the fact that they are removing games from being put out. They're not distributing games as much anymore, and they're trying to actually focus in on what gamers truly want instead of this ideological bent. But that's just my take on it. That's what I'm seeing here. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on all this. Let me hear it down in the comments below. If you like this video, please, guys, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, hit your subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video go live, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.